January Brown, you are one of our trailblazers. So I remember 2018, I had the pleasure of going out to New Bern, North Carolina, and doing the Dementia Live training for you as part of the Eastern North Carolina Area Agency on Aging integration of the program. And you are the leading age consultant. And so delighted to talk to you and have this time to share with you about being our partners for so long and what the program has meant to you. But I'll start by asking you about your role as a lead aging consultant because I know how busy you are and how many hats you wear and all the things you do. So just start by sharing a little bit about your role and what you've done.
So I work for the Area Agency on Aging, and we do cover 9 counties over here near the New Bern, by the coast down North Carolina. And so in my position, we focus on trying to help bring education, advocacy, and services to older adults and caregivers in our community to help them remain in their home as long as possible, as independently as possible. And so a large part of what we do is the education piece, advocating for services and resources and educating individuals on what's available in our area. And a big piece of that is also advocating for people with dementia. So we work very closely with community partners and even just individuals in their homes doing one-on-one counselings with them to help support them.
And your service area is large. Tell me a little bit about the diversity of those you serve and the communities you serve.
Yes. So we have, like I said, 9 counties that we service. We are a very rural part of North Carolina. Some of our counties are very, very low population. We have a vast number of old country farmers. So, but we have a lot of farm country here. We produce a lot of different types of produce in our area. So we do see a lot of low income, rural, and minority populations in our 9 counties.
Yeah. Well, I distinctly remember when I did have the privilege of going out there to do the Dementia Live training with all your coaches of having some great discussion on the challenges of serving rural communities and the different aspects of what they were envisioning in using Dementia Live to help boost the education initiatives that they had for the care partners, both professionals and staff. But let's talk a little bit because you have really done a lot of education that, innovative education. And most recently, a wonderful dementia-friendly initiative that I'm excited for you to share with others, and that's your recent educational event that you had at the aquarium in New Bern. So tell me a little bit about that.
So we were asked and approached by the North Carolina Pinole Shores Aquarium, that is right here in Carteret County near the coast, about coming in and training their staff on what is dementia and customer service skills that they could have for training those people. So, but we partnered with the North Carolina Aquarium. They're closed for 1 week, and they wanted to do a mass staff training on people with dementia and how they could better serve those individuals and make the experience at the aquarium more meaningful to them and helping those caregivers with being able to enjoy the experience. And so we utilized the Dementia Live experience to give them a chance to feel what it might feel like to have dementia, giving them that inside out, trying to build some empathy with them, not only with their customers, but by doing this presentation and training with them, we were also able to identify specific caregivers who were currently caring for somebody with dementia. And this really was an eye opening and that aha moment for them to maybe look at the way their approaches are with the loved ones that they care for.
Yeah, and just proves to all of us that aquariums are not just visited by children, right? And
Mm,
families,
no.
that more and more older adults are visiting and go with their families. And so the need for people who volunteers and staff for the cultural activities in our community need this kind of education. So yeah, I thought it was great that you and your team went out and did this.
Well, and the nice thing too that they provide a sensory day, and a lot of the times agencies like movies and different locations do offer a specific time for sensory to help decrease the noise or the crowds or the lights. But a lot of those sensory events focus on children, people maybe with autism, but it never addresses those that might be older adults, people with PTSD, and especially those ones with dementia. So the aquariums, they have sensory kits that those that are visitors there, they can check out a sensory kit, which might help enhance the visit, but also just promoting that those times, those special moments that they have that they offer to the community now should be all encompassing to include people with dementia and their caregivers.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very telling of the shift in our population, right? Of the
Mhm.
older adults and more of us needing to be prepared to better serve them. So
Mhm.
thanks for doing that. And so another area that I know you do a lot of is first responder training. Talk about that.
So we took on Dementia Alive because all of the staff members here have bought into it, really believe in it, and we use it as a foundation to pretty much any training we do. If that's with first responders, RN students, community members, and of course the aquarium. But I have utilized Dementia Live since 2018 as a way to train police officers and law enforcement in our area. We have a program here through Trillium, and it's called CIT, or Crisis Intervention Trained Officers. And part of that course is they do receive about a 2 hour, hour and a half, 2 hour training on dementia and how to de escalate and what type of issues or behaviors they we can train them on for people with dementia. So we utilize the Dementia Live as our foundation to start that training with. Putting those police officers into compromising positions, such as even, can you pull out your driver's license and tell me the expiration date, or asking them to stand up, turn around, sit down, and write down something, how that can induce that overstimulation, and how giving them that empathy to understand when you pull somebody over, as we age, we decrease in our reaction time. And so giving them that space, that time, also identifying individuals in the community that might have dementia. In our region, we have a lot of elder orphans. So we have a lot of retirees from the military in my region. And so we have older adults living in our community that don't have any family. So they may not know somebody has dementia. So understanding the signs, how to approach somebody with dementia, but not only being there for that person with dementia, but being there for the caregiver and being able to de-escalate them, because there's two people in crisis. So we work very closely with those police officers, dispatchers. We happen to do DPS, which work in the jails or the prisons out here, and trying to help them understand the signs, the symptoms of dementia, how to de-escalate somebody with behaviors, and just start gaining that empathy, taking your time, being slow. So it works as our foundation for training them.
Yeah, yeah, you've really upped the game, I know, over the years with this first responder training and expanded this and used some of our resources to help you with that. So talk about the resource library that we have. How helpful is it for you?
It's the resource library that you all offer online is an abundance of information. It's a very quick reference for me. I can do a training, and the nice thing about Dementia Live, it's very flexible. So you can accommodate it for any type of situation, any type of training, but then the resources are there to match it. So if I'm going into a long-term care facility and working with staff and trying to help them during meal times, there's wonderful tools in there on noise reduction, mealtime, even a mealtime sheet. So I can usually utilize one or multiple of the information sheets that are available to me at the click of a button for any training that I've done, including first responders and just one-on-one caregiver interactions that I've had. I've used a lot of them with those type of sit downs, as I say. They're informative, they're quick. There a lot of resources out there are so medical. They have so much information that the most important stuff gets lost. And a lot of the materials that Educate provides are very simple, factual, and easy to retain, if that makes sense. There, I don't have to read a whole bunch of stuff to gain one concept. I can get it all in a 1 to 2 page flyer or resource sheet.
Which is exactly what we believe is simpler is better, more powerful. You know, we want people to leave with understanding and having some tools in their pocket right away to leave the experience and do something to empower them immediately in their care or understanding of someone with dementia, depending on the role they play. So, and I say this many times, but it's program partners like you who have given us great feedback that have helped us create the library of resources that we have today. So thank you. And I failed to say that January is one of our master trainers, which, you know, you go above and beyond and have done training for other coaches along through the years and really embrace the program to the next level. So, you know, one of our greatest cheerleaders out there, and certainly a valued program partner, as you know. So, anything else you want to add as far as some of the stories you remember, or some of the groups that you remember doing through the last 6, 7 years?
I think mm, every experience is great. I meet new people. Just being able, my staff and I, us working together and being able to help people, even if it's just that one person that gets something out of this experience, we've been able to help and touch them. We've cried with them, we've laughed with them, and this experience has given not just the people we're educating information and support, but it's given our staff so much because we learn every time we do this. We always see something new. It's interesting to see how people's minds work and how they interpret stuff, and it allows us to grow as professionals and being able to address different issues that somebody might have, especially when we're doing that debriefing. We've all learned compassion on both sides of it, compassion for those that are living with dementia, but also even our hearts sometimes have the compassion for those caregivers when they're identified in the simulation. At first, they don't come in as an being identified as a caregiver, as we did at the aquarium, and come to find out we identified people and could take them on as a one-on-one on the side and address their needs. And we've all learned. I mean, I think our agency's really grown utilizing this program. And like I said, having it as a foundation of everything that we do with our communities and education.
Yeah, January, I know that you do some work with your local universities at the university in Newburgh.
So we have extensions and satellite offices throughout the state. And so we have one satellite office, the one down in Wilmington and the one up here in New Bern with some of the community colleges and stuff that we work closely with.
Okay. And so you work with the School of Social Work and
Mhm.
you put some of the students through. So tell me a little bit more about how you run that program.
So we usually have an intern. Our ombudsman program takes on interns every spring and fall. And one of the things that we've always offered to our students is at the end of their internship that we would gladly come and put their class through the Dementia Live experience. And so we've done that quite a few times. But one of the ways that we change up the experience a little bit, this helps with the flexibilities, is since they are social workers, we do want them to try to get both aspects because going through the simulation is very important. It gives you that empathy. But as a professional, seeing those behaviors is a very good resource too, because we're so often to label people in our society that we'll see something and then, oh, they've got dementia. And so now everybody's going to associate everything that person does with dementia. So when we utilize the tour, we put the social workers through the simulation. And then as soon as they're done, we take off all their equipment and we throw them back into the simulation so they can observe their classmates doing the behaviors. Because in my opinion, as a professional, both sides of it are very important to gain knowledge of. And so those individuals get to see their classmates who don't have a label of dementia or any kind of issue experiencing those behaviors naturally. And so trying to get that insight that some things are a natural behavior, not so much due to the diagnosis.
Well, thank you. I can say that I feel like not only is your agency very fortunate to have you and your innovation and your passion, because you are such a dedicated professional. You really have, from your heart, a compassion for older adults and their care partners, and it shows in all the work that you've done over the years. But your community, I mean, New Bern and the surrounding communities eh, are they're very fortunate for how you've taken not only Dementia Live, but your other programs out to the community and continue to do the work that you do. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing and allowing others to see how this program can be utilized and the great work that the area agencies on aging do. You and the many others across the country that work tirelessly in this space to create a better environment for older adults and their care partners and meeting the needs of the communities, especially where it's sometimes most challenging.